Welcome to Carver County's training on Service Employees International Union, or SEIU. The State of Minnesota Department of Human Services entered a contract with SEIU back in 2014. All CDCS hired employees are required to follow the agreements between these two entities. This contract renews and is changed every 2 years. The goal of this partnership is to address the professionalism of direct support workers, to assure high-quality services to participants, to negotiate fair rates of pay and conditions of employment, and to establish benefits and grievance procedures. All CDCS staff must follow the agreements around paid time off, or PTO, around wage requirements such as minimum wage, and pass a Net Study 2.0 background study to become a direct care staff. All direct support staff automatically receive these benefits. Becoming an actual member of SEIU is not required. It is voluntary. Staff who choose to become members pay a 3% payroll deduction for their dues. The FMS will automatically deduct this from the staff's payroll check and pay the union dues for the employee. Again, it is important to know that even if staff do not join the union, they still have the benefits of the union mentioned. Unions may try different strategies to gain membership from hired staff, including going to the staff person's home. The union has access to your staff's contact information. Your staff may ask you about the union after being contacted by them. Your staff have the right to become a member and not to become a member, including the right to privacy. Your FMS provider will also give you more information about the union when you enroll with them. Now let's look more specifically about the benefits all employees receive from this agreement between Minnesota Department of Human Services and the union. Paid time off, or PTO, is a benefit that all staff have access to. PTO is not part of their hourly wage, but rather an additional benefit. PTO must be taken out of all new plans for staff. Currently, PTO is accrued at 1 hour for every 40 hours worked. Staff are eligible to use their PTO after they have worked 600 hours or 6 months, whichever comes first. Direct support staff are also able to opt out of accruing any further PTO once they have met the threshold of 600 hours or 6 months. Each individual staff is the only one that can elect to opt out of PTO. The participant and/or managing party cannot opt out for a staff. To opt out, there's additional paperwork that needs to be completed through the FMS. This can sometimes take 1 to 2 pay periods to go into effect, so plan accordingly. Once a staff decides to opt out, they will not be able to opt back in until the following service plan. Depending on the FMS, the staff person opting out may be required to cash out their entire accrued PTO balance or may elect to bank some hours and claim accrued PTO later. It is often good to have some PTO banked just in case there is a hospitalization or some other event in which staff cannot get paid for a period. Typically, 80 hours of PTO can be carried over from fiscal year to fiscal year, so it's important to periodically check your balance. The FMS will go over all ramifications of opting out with the staff person as part of their process. If a staff person leaves their employment before 600 hours or 6 months, they are not eligible to receive any of their accrued PTO. However, if the staff has met the 600 hours or 6 months threshold and terminates employment, the accrued PTO will also be paid to them. For general PTO usage, a staff person and the participant or managing party must agree on when the PTO hours will be used. For example, if a staff would like to take off their typical 4 to 8 p.m. shift on Saturday and get paid for this, the managing party would need to mutually agree on this and complete the necessary paperwork through the FMS. If a parent or spouse would like to claim their PTO hours, It does not count towards their work week hours. For example, a parent gets paid for working 40 hours in a week but would like to claim 8 hours of PTO. This does not count as working 48 hours for the week. These are two completely different accounts. This PTO benefit gets renegotiated every 2 years, so often changes over time. Now let's take a closer look at wage requirements through the union and DHS around minimum wage. The union and state typically negotiate minimum wage requirements every 2 years, and it is usually well above whatever the current state and federal minimum wage is. You cannot pay any staff less than what is required through this agreement. Sometimes other municipalities have other minimum wage laws as well. If these minimum wage laws are higher, you must abide by that specific municipality law. Now let's look at more information about background studies. For staff to be employed through CDCS, they must pass a NET Study 2.0 background study. The background studies are conducted through DHS Licensing Division. The cost of the background study is not paid through the CDCS budget, but is paid through the state system. Your case manager will assure that there is a service agreement in the state system to pay for as many background studies as you need to employ your workers. Your FMS will assist in the process of completing the background studies. Most of the FMSs can do the background study at their office or will supply you with a list of locations your potential staff can go to. The NET Study 2.0 is unique in that it utilizes fingerprinting. It only needs to be done once in a lifetime and not yearly like many of the other background studies. This background study is attached to both state and federal criminal systems. This system will notify employers if there is currently a disqualifier or if something disqualifies their staff even after they are employed. If you or your staff have already completed a NET Study 2.0 for a different job, you should not have to do this again, but rather inform the FMS of this, and the FMS may simply be able to look their information up by using their Social Security number. The potential staff person and the FMS is notified if an employee does not qualify to work. It is important to notify your case manager when this happens to keep them informed and help problem solve. If an employee did not pass, he or she is able to ask for reconsideration with the FMS's assistance. Unfortunately, the worker will not be able to work during this reconsideration period because it usually requires supervision and there is not a formal supervision component with CDCS. If you have further questions, please contact your case manager or FMS provider. This concludes our mini training on SEIU. Thank you.